What's going on, everybody? It's Ricky with Videohomicide, and I'm back with episode 7 of the VHS Graveyard. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a stack of tapes that are all adult animation. When I say adult animation, I don't mean pornographic. I mean like not for kids. Okay, this isn't Bambi we're talking about. This is some high-octane, explosive fucking, everything from Richard Corbin to, Trey Parker and Matt Stone. We're gonna take a look at some badness here, or some badness in the best way. So we're gonna start it off right here with a tape that I actually got from my wife when we moved into this house together. When she was going through her stuff, she had a sealed copy of South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut. And I was like, oh my fucking god. I've also got some Simpsons tapes, but those are in the basement somewhere. This is all the stuff that I still have that I think is worth mentioning. I think those Simpsons tapes serve a purpose and they have a place in the collection for me and all that stuff, but I don't need to have those up here. But some of this stuff like this, I definitely do. So the South Park film, I think it came out in like 98, 99. So I was born in 92, so I was a young kid. I remember when this fucking movie came out, we were already watching South Park. So like nobody's parents seemed to have a problem about anyone watching the show, because everybody I knew watched this. Everybody I knew, for the most part, was watching Chappelle's show when that came out, and playing Grand Theft Auto fucking 3 and just being indoctrinated with all this like super violent media to consume. You know what I mean? It was an awesome time. Like there was no there was no governor on anything. Everything was limitless, especially with video games. Like, these cartoons kick ass. South Park definitely, set the bar as high as it can pretty much go for this type of stuff, like satire, parody type shit. Sort of like X-rated Mad Magazine-ish, if you know what I mean. Because at the end of the day, South Park is like a show making fun of stuff. It's not like, it's not a deep show. It's just like supposed to just make you laugh your balls off, and it's successfully done that to me for 30 years or however long the show's been out. I don't really remember much of life before South Park being there. And I remember when this movie came out, I specifically remember renting it from the variety store my dad used to live above of. He used to live above this place. The thing was, the variety store sucked. Everything was overpriced. It was old. It was bullshit. So we would walk down the street to the other variety store, and when we would come back with our bags of stuff, Buddy would be down there all pissed off. It's like, fuck you, man. We'll charge, get something better than OK Bread and RC Cola. All right, we want the Dempsters. We want Wonder Bread, and we want Pepsi. But I remember we rented this, and like to go from like the show, which a majority of the South Park that I seen was via, it was either watching it live, because I remember watching it at my house on 46, probably channel 46, Comedy Channel, but my dad had a bunch of tapes of South Park. I wish I still had those, but it was all, it's what it was. But going from that to this, with them saying fuck and shit, and it's just super, just heavy duty hardcore. Like, I think this is like one of the defining moments for me in my life of like an animated film coming out when I was alive. You know what I mean? Beavis and Butthead Do America came out when I was alive, Heavy Metal 2000, but like this is the one, and I'm really happy to have been a part of a generation that could enjoy shit like this, and still do. And I will never enjoy this tape. This is going to be sealed forever, but I think it's a fun artifact. And it says on the cover here, parents, please be advised that South Park is intended for mature audiences. Bunch of fucking kids in public school in southwestern Ontario, Canada. Uncle Fucka, Uncle Fucka, shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucka. Like, come on, dude. And I've said this a million times, but I have to say this again, since we're talking about South Park. When I was a kid, and I actually have the exact issue, if I can find it right off the bat, which would be a miracle. There was an episode where they said Cartman's mom was on the cover of Crack Whore magazine. And me and my cousin McLean, we were like, oh my God, like, because we knew that there was this magazine at the store across the street called Cracked. And I just assumed that that's what it was. I thought, we thought it was Crack Whore magazine. I think I'm in the area where it would be. So we asked our parent. I asked my mom. He asked his mom. Hey, can we get some Crack Whore magazines? They have it over at Keon's, which is the name of the shopkeep across the street. There it is, right there. Now, this isn't the one that I bought back in the day, but this is the issue. So, And because they were on it, we were like, oh, this is the magazine they're talking about. But no. But both of our moms were like, fine, get it, whatever. Like, the thing was, this is how fucked up, like, media and entertainment was back then. Like, the same time that we were getting into South Park and talking about Crack Whore magazine was the same time that, like, the Pokemon movie was coming out. So, like, in one breath we want Crack Whore magazine, in the other breath we want the fucking Pokemon VHS because it comes with the Mew card, And then when we go home that night, we're gonna watch fucking Chappelle's Show. Like, I can't stress that enough, because, like, I can specifically remember watching Chappelle's Show, going to school the next day and talking about it to a buddy and being like, oh, did you watch Chappelle's Show last night? Fucking hilarious. Pissing our pants. But anyways, moving on to the next tape. This is one I actually have not watched yet. But I had to mention it because this is monumental in animation. So years ago there was a festival called Spike and Mike's Sick and Twisted Festival of Animation. So this is volume 1 of looks like there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 13 shorts on here. 13 cartoons. And I believe the butcher, what's his name, Lupo the Butcher, is in here. There's one that I can't remember the name of, but me and my brother watched a bunch of these, like, Spike and Mike style cartoons one summer, and there was one where it was this guy that was, like, acting as a babysitter, and he's like he goes to this girl's house and he basically ends up eating the baby. If anybody knows the name of that animation short, please let me know. I actually almost forgot to mention some of the other stuff on here. So we've got How Much Is That Dog in the Window by John Callahan. I don't know if that's John Callahan from John Callahan's Quads, which was another sort of adult show from back then. Pink Cocomonker, Bladder Trouble Discoveries. Rest of these guys' names aren't really ringing a bell, but this is from 1994, so really cool stuff. I actually picked this up. This is from Suspect Video and Culture from Toronto, which is a legendary video store that's no longer there, but pretty cool artifact to have, especially if you're from southwestern Ontario. Moving along, this is a classic. I remember when I was a kid, I didn't really understand this film because it was so... Maybe it was the rotoscope. I don't know. I couldn't get into this movie when I was a kid, but in later life, American Pop. What a fantastic display of just, like, music meets animation meets just madness, dude. This is a really good one. I believe it's Ralph Bakshi. Yes, Ralph Bakshi. There's music from The Doors, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, The Mamas and the Papas. California, California. Yeah, man, this is just excellent stuff. If you've not seen it, it's basically the story of this family through, like, 3 or 4 different generations, but it's told through, like, music, their connections to music. So, like, World War I, I believe, the 1980s, like, like, way back, like, in the fucking, like, I think the first story in this is, like, about a kid that's in, I don't know the name of, like, the type of, like, guerrilla military type thing, but I'm thinking of, but, like, very violent looking motherfuckers. But this is a really good flick, American Pop. Check it out if you've not, especially if you're into music. Here's another one that is definitely worth your time, from Katsuhiro Otomo. We've got Akira, another sealed fucking VHS tape. Excellent film. This is a great movie, like, regardless of it being a cartoon. This is the type of shit that if I was a kid and I'd seen this, because I didn't really watch a lot of anime. Truth be told, I wasn't the biggest fan of Dragon Ball Z or anything like that. I didn't really get into anime until much, like, I'd seen Afro Samurai. That was about it for probably 10 years. And then I watched Cowboy Bebop in this, because I was like, I want to check out some anime, and these were, like, top of the list always for, like, movie, show. Really good stuff. The story of Tetsuo and Kaneda and their their adventures through Neo Tokyo. There's actually a store by me called Neo Tokyo, where they actually rent manga. They actually rent, or don't quote me on the manga, but they rent DVDs and stuff, which is pretty cool. This is a really good story. One of my favorite parts about this is actually the beginning of the film, where, like, Kaneda's, like, in that bar, and he's flipping through the jukebox, and then his buddies come in, and the bartender's like, hey, you gotta pay for something, and then the one buddy's like, what, drink your horse piss or your dog piss or something? Just like they're so badass. Like, absolutely fucking love the badassness of, like, especially in that like first little segment with the clowns and all that shit. Like, oh man, I don't know why that line always stuck out to me, but like, what, drink your dog piss? One thing to note is, I don't know, I think that, because I had 2 copies of this, I once had an unopened copy that I sold. I'm pretty sure this is the dub that I like the most, because I've got the Blu-ray, and I don't know, 25th anniversary edition includes all 3 audio tracks. So okay, I guess it would be on here, but that's something to point out, because a lot of times with movies, especially like with dubs and stuff, you might get attached to a certain audio dub, or, you know. So really good stuff right here. Akira's good. I've only read, honestly, the first trade. I've got the first 4 volumes, but just to give you sort of an example, like, this is just a fucking tome of insanity, dude. Really good stuff. So shout out to Codenatia Comics for putting, I think Dark Horse put out some of them too, but that's besides the point. Let's move on. Oh, I gotta save that one for last. All right, here's one that it's hit or miss for me. I basically have this for the novelty of it, which I try not to do with my collection. I'm trying not to just keep stuff just because the novelty. But Heavy Metal 2000, front cover here by Simon Beasley. This movie did not do anything for me back then, and I haven't pretty much watched it since back then, so I could probably give it a another gander. I think that so the voices of Michael Ironside, who of course is, you know, Rod Shack from fucking Starship Troopers, among many other performances, even Scanners, a bunch of stuff like that. But yeah, Heavy Metal 2000. Next we've got a weird one that I actually have not watched yet either. It says Ninjas versus the Living Dead: The Curse of the Undead Yoma, which is again another anime here, but I think it's a self-contained situation. Like, it's 85 minutes, so I'm sure that's the whole story. Really sort of appealing back pictures there. It's probably why I picked this up on a white VHS, by the way, from Blockbuster, of course. Yeah, I don't really know anything about this, but it looks decent. Curse of the Undead Yoma includes 2 complete original videos. Part 1 and 2 contains graphic violence, so I'm okay with graphic violence, especially when it comes to my cartoons. Second last item on the list, we've got, this is volume 3. It's the only one I have that's on VHS. I have the first one, I have at least the first one on DVD. Who the fuck knows where it is? But Spawn, Todd McFarlane's Spawn, the HBO cartoon that is just fucking excellent. Really worth your time. Voiced by Keith David. You know, Spawn. Like when I think of Spawn, this is the version I think of. I think that the comics look fucking amazing, especially like the first, you know, however, like the stuff that I had that I got from my Uncle Mike years ago would have been like probably the first up to 12 to 15 issues of Spawn, and I remember thinking they were like really cool looking. And I remember there was a comic book called Sam and Twitch that came out that is about like the detectives. That was like it came out long ago, but it's like they're redoing it now again. Like, there's a new Sam and Twitch comic. I don't know if it's worth a shit to watch or to check out, but really excellent stuff. Never really been a big fan of Spawn in way of reading it. Like I said, I've read like the first maybe as many as 15 issues back in the day when I sold all my Spawn shit years ago. But you know, some of them I wish I hung on to, because especially that Billy Kincaid issue and different shit like that. But this is a good show to check out. Spawn, dude. Just throwing shit around here at this point. Now, I've saved the best for last. Okay. Now, attention. Headbangers in leather. Sparks flying in the middle of the night. One-way ticket to midnight. Call it Heavy Metal. Dude, the best animated anything ever. Changed my mind. If you think any of that fucking Studio Ghibli shit, or I'm not saying it's shit, but I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm not talking shit on people's fucking livelihood and their favorite type stuff, but I'm saying that is a fucking teardrop in the ocean compared to this, man. This is amazing. We've got 5 epic stories. This is why I said at the beginning of the film, we got everyone from Richard Corbin to Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Richard Corbin, of course, being the creative inspiration behind the story Den in this, which I still to this day think it's probably the best looking. My favorite story is the Harry Canyon taxi cab story, followed by Tarna at the end. But that fucking Den one, dude, it looks so good. It looks so good. And you know, this is just like the perfect movie to watch on mushrooms. This is not my original copy that I watched this on. I actually have a copy that the old man taped. It's behind a bunch of stuff, but just take my word for it, it's up there. Really can't say enough about this movie that hasn't already been said. It's amazing. This is like when people say, oh, movies to know me, movies to get to know me, this would be on the list. You know, as a matter of fact, I'm actually working on a list. I think I got like 13 movies on it right now. I'm not going to show you in detail, but there it is. I want to do a video talking about like my favorite, like my current favorite movies. You know what I mean? Not really in order, but just my current favorite movies. And this has pretty much been on every top list I've ever made. So yeah, the music in this, Take a Ride, it's such a good song. You know, there's another Don Felder song in here. Is it Don Felder? Yeah, there's 2 Don Felder songs. Both of them are amazing. That Rig song called Radar Rider. Fuck. Dude, I'm super inspired by heavy metal right now, and I'm actually working on a comic that's directly inspired by heavy metal. And recently I got a shitload of heavy metal magazines from my Uncle Mike. There's a video uploaded recently. I believe it was a live stream, but go ahead and check that out if you feel so inclined. But I'm going to leave it at that. I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure you leave a 666 in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this episode of VHS Graveyard. And with that being said, adios. I'm going to fucking finish off the last of this little bit of a joint. Start the edit on this video. Call it a night. Ding dong.